mouth and the meditation of my heart, Lord, let it prove to be acceptable in your sight. For Lord, you are my strength, and Lord, you are indeed my Redeemer. And this we ask in the name of Jesus the Christ, we pray. Let us all say together, amen. Kicking off 36 years here at the GYD Church. We celebrate the goodness. Always happy to see my hero in church this morning, amen. We're still honoring him, amen. God bless you, man. God bless you. 36 years, man. 36 years. Okay, you know, I don't preach much this month, and so this is my appreciation sermon to myself. This is what I would want preached to me. So I asked the Lord to give me the sermon that he would want preached to me. So, you know, so y'all just listening in on the message. Okay, let's go to John 8:14, man. Let's go to John 8:14. And Jesus answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came, and whither I go, where I come, and where I go. Drop my kickstand right there, amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord, amen. God bless you.
Come on, preacher.
The most essential thing in our life right now is wise leadership. Without wise leadership in your home is in trouble. When you have wise leadership, if you don't have wise leadership in your business, the church is in trouble. And one of the critical things that will happen is a problem with leadership. And I think everybody that is a leader ought to be re-examining themselves as a leader. I want to say this, first of all, I want everybody to understand this. Everybody in here is a leader. Because leadership can be defined in one word. It's called influence. Whatever you influence anyone, you lead them. And whether you believe it or not, everybody in here influences somebody. Everybody's watching you. And so therefore, this leadership message is really for every one of us who wants to be a leader. But you have to determine what kind of leader you want to be. You either want to be a good leader or a lousy leader. And one of the things that the church is crippling from today is crippling from a lack of leadership. Now there are three things I want to tell you about leadership that we're dealing with in terms of the world, in terms of the church today. Here's the first thing. Is that we got too many celebrities and not enough leaders. Now what's a celebrity versus a leader? A celebrity is the person who wants to be famous. A leader is a person that gets things done. And what I mean by that, you look at your position, look at where you are. Are you a celebrity or are you really a leader? Who's being influenced by what you're doing? And then, so a lot of people in church, you know, they have titles but no testimony. They really don't. Maybe guys who they're pastors, but they don't do it. So when you look at your particular position and look at as a leader in terms of your influence, what exactly do you do? Are you just somebody to be known for what to be known for? You're just a celebrity. You're just somebody in name. And so that's the first problem we got with leadership. The second problem we got with leadership, amen, is that we got wrong leadership. And I don't mean by wrong leadership, I'm talking about people who are leading outside of their calling. So they're really trying to influence people in an area that they have not been called to influence them in that particular area. So they really, just wrong leadership. Amen. We got deacons that are, we got preachers that really need to get saved again. Because what happened, you know, it's not working. You're not influencing anyone. Why? Because you're operating outside of, you're married to the wrong people. You are the, that's why that marriage not working. It's not working because you're in a position you didn't really need to be in. Or you married to someone. That's why you have no influence with that person. See, so you got wrong leadership. Amen. The third character of leader is the leader that everybody ought to want to be, and that's good and godly. Well, what is good and godly? Good simply means that your agenda is God's agenda. And that whatever you're doing, that you have consulted with God, and this is what he wants you to do. Godly means that whatever happens is representative of the God that's living in the inside of you. So whatever comes out of you is really supernatural and not natural. So when you look at the fact, when you look at the agenda is not my agenda, the agenda is his agenda, because in all my ways I've acknowledged him and I'm letting him call the shot, letting him give me the direction. And if you look at the product, you'll come to the conclusion it's not natural, it's supernatural. Now there are no such thing as a perfect leader, because you have to be a perfect person to be a perfect leader. So the only perfect leader is Jesus. I said the only perfect leader is still making efforts. That's all I'm doing, man. I'm not perfect in making efforts. That's why I don't ever give people much stock when they want to go in and try to go through all that. You ain't got to do all that investigating and calling around. Amen. Just ask me, I'll tell you. I'll be the first one to tell you I am not perfect. You know, Paul said, you know what? He said, not that I consider myself apprehended, but Paul said, I don't consider myself to have arrived. I know people saying some good stuff about me, but Paul said, don't think I'm there, because I am really not the things that are behind me. And I reach for the things that are before me, and I press toward the mark of the high call efforts. Sometimes right, I'm sometimes wrong. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down. I'm sometimes got it together, and sometimes can't get it together. Sometimes happy, I'm somewhere, and sometimes I'm stretched out. But that's part of what we are. We are imperfect people. Anybody understand that? Amen? Only Christ is the perfect one. So if I want to lead, Lord, let me lead from Jesus. Let me lead like you, Jesus. Let me learn from the perfect. That's my aspiration. And I'm going to give you 4 things I learned. Y'all ain't got that kind of time. So let me give you 4 things that I learned from Jesus. And here's the first thing I learned from Jesus. Jesus taught me about commitment. All right. Commitment. Now, what is commitment as a leader? Commitment is in terms of identity. What I mean by identity is in terms of knowing who you are. Your first commitment in life is to know who you are. It's to know the person that God meant for you to be. Molded into the image of other people's expectations of you. It's to know who you really are. And that's what Jesus said. That's what he said. He said, look at here. He said, my record speaks of myself. And Jesus said, my record is true. He said, I don't need y'all to tell me who I am. He said, look, he said, and I know where I'm going. He knows my story better than me. And can't nobody tell it like I tell it. Amen. So if you're going to be, your first commitment, man, you got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. You got to become it. And Jesus constantly told folk who he was. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I'm the good shepherd. I'm the one that laid down his life for the sheep. I'm really going to tell you who I am. You say, I'll tell you who I am. I am the light of the world. Do not allow yourself. Jesus knew who God told him he was. And he knew who he was. So if you're going to be a leader, you better know who you are. If you don't, let me tell you something. If you don't know who you are as a leader, you're going to fall into 3 traps. And here's the 3 traps that most people fall into when they don't know who they really are. They fall into the trap of born you already. Manipulation is when people want you to fit within their expectations of you. And now you're falling into what? You're being manipulated because you're trying to live up to somebody else's opinion, live up to somebody's expectation, live up to what somebody else wants you to be, live up to what somebody else wants you to do, and it stresses you out. And one of the things, man, you want to be married to the person you want instead of being married to the person you got. And so now you're trying to manipulate me. You're trying to make that woman is heavy. She's going to stay heavy. Since you're trying to run her after death, trying to make her skinny. She ain't gonna be skinny. I mean, it's that you be who you really are, so you allow yourself to be manipulated by people's expectations and people's thinking about you. You know, I don't preach to manipulate. I don't preach based upon, I'm not sitting here saying, can I get some help over here? Can I get a witness over here? I got to get somebody to say amen, as though I can't preach without your affirmation. In the midst of everything, you got to know who you are. You got to fit into your mold. You got to fit into the image, the conclusion. You either like me or you don't like me. You either want me or you don't want me. Because this is who I am. I'm not going through no twisting no hoops and jumping through no hoops trying to live up to something you want me to be. I'm not going to let you define me. You didn't make me. My maker the one made me. He's the only one can define me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You ought to say, hey, it really don't matter. It really don't matter. If I ain't what you like, keep going. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? So I would not be manipulated. Oh my God, amen? You allow yourself to be manipulated. People's images and people think you need to be this and you need to be that. People telling you, like, how can anybody who didn't make you tell you what you ought to be? You ought to be who God created you to be. You ought to be the person you know that God assigned you to be. Hey, I'm a country boy. I'm country. I'm country. Amen. That's who I am. You don't like country, don't fool with me. I mean, I still use a biscuit and some syrup. I still give me some light bread and top up that gravy. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? You know who you are, people. Amen. Here's the other thing you want to do. You don't want to live a phony life. When you don't know who you are, you're going to be one thing to one group of people and then another thing to another group of people. You're going to try to get along with this folk and you're going to try to get along with that kind of people, amen. You're going to try to talk this way to this kind of folk and you're going to try to talk another way to this kind of folk. But guess what? I'm the same. The same sermon I preach in the country is the same sermon I preach in the city. I'll be in New Jersey in a few days and guess what? They're going to get the same type message. Amen. I'm just who I am. You start living a phony and you become a pretender. You start wearing a mask. Then you become a hypocrite. Amen. And what happens, man, when you allow yourself to be manipulated by other people's opinions or when you allow yourself to live a phony life, then you put stress on yourself. When you're not who you were meant to be, you're stressed out. When you're trying to get somebody to be something you know you're not meant to be, they will stress you out. You can look at your face, man. A lot of you in here, you either someplace you ain't got no business being, or you with somebody you ain't got no business being with. Just do it in the first place. And look at the stress all over your face. It will stress you out. They will have you on medication. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's like, let me tell you something. Even when you know who you are, you got to be careful about the two things that can limit you as a leader. And one of the two things that can limit me as a leader is one, comparing myself to somebody else. Now, first of all, the Bible tells you not to do that. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 12. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. For we dare not make ourselves of the number. Or Paul said, we don't compare ourselves with some that commend themselves. For they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves among themselves. Paul said, that ain't even wise. Why are you going to compare yourself to somebody else? Do you really think that you get to heaven, God is going to say, you weren't like so-and-so? I mean, why are you going to compare yourself to somebody else? Amen. In the middle of the day, you can only be who you really are. You can only be who you really are. And so here's the first thing. We compare ourselves to one another. The first thing you're not comparing, if you compare yourself. You know, a whole lot of preachers, man, a whole lot of preachers are really jealous of other preachers. Response that you get, and now you become discouraged. You become discouraged, amen? If your church doing this and my church ain't doing it, or your church is succeeding over here and my church is not succeeding, you're going to become discouraged. If you're better than the person you are comparing yourself with, you can become full of pride and ego. So anytime you're full of pride and anytime you're full of discouragement, you're not going to be who God really wants you to be. It's going to limit you. I'm telling you right now, the danger of comparison. People always ask me all the time, well, who's the best preacher you got at Greater Young's Eye? I said, I didn't know it was a contest. I really don't. I don't know it was a contest. I don't know how you can determine who's the best preacher because I don't know what God gave one preacher versus what he gave another. You can't tell who the best singer because you don't know what God gave one singer based on what he gave another singer. And you're better at what you do because you've been given more. I'm better at what I'm doing because God gave me more than he gave somebody else. Anybody know what I'm talking about? But you can't sit around and compare yourself to nobody else. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So here's the thing that I'm trying to get you to understand. This thing of comparison. So what I do, if I listen to Barry McQuarrie preach, I'm saying Barry is good for Barry. What I've learned about him, he did an excellent job. But he ain't in no contest with nobody else. That's your pride. And you'll never be who you want to be if you're spending your time comparing yourself to somebody else. I'm not concerned about Greater Young's Eye. I don't care what tabernacle does. Tabernacle gotta be tabernacle. Green Grove gotta be Green Grove. Faithful gotta be faithful. GYZ gotta be GYZ. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Man, I'm trying to be the best way the blood I can. I'm trying to be the best of who I am. But I know one thing. Nobody can beat me beating me. Can anybody beat you beating you? Nobody can do you like you. So therefore, don't compare yourself to nobody else. Don't compare. So comparison is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Now it's all right to imitate someone. It's bad when you duplicate. See, we can learn by imitation, but duplication is when you adopt something that you really don't understand, but you adopt it, you just duplicate it. And a whole lot of people do that, man. They say stuff that they heard somebody else say without investigating whether that is valid or not. You just wind up saying it because you copied it from someone else. And listen now, you can imagine, I can just say, you ever hear people pray? You can hear somebody, and then you wind up putting that phrase in your... You heard somebody sing a song, and it sounded good, but you didn't take the time to research whether or not the song was theologically valid, and you just singing it. Amen. I mean, we copy stuff, man. We don't take time to investigate whether or not do we really mean it. It's all right to hear me say something. And you say, man, that really sounds good, but you got to still barrierize it. You got to take it. He said, yeah, I understand it, but you got to say it the way culture says it. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You got to make it you. If you're going to sing a song, you got to understand what the singer was singing when he was singing, and you got to determine how does that apply to my life. You got to own the song. You got to make the song you. Amen. You just can't sing it because you heard him sing it. And I'm not going to walk around talking about, singing stuff that ain't me. When I first came here, man, I tell you, man, they used to sing a song, and y'all know I don't like that song. Meet me, Jesus, meet me. Meet me in the middle of the air. If these two wings fail me, then Lord, meet me with another pair. Whoever told you you're going to get wings in the first place? That is not theologically correct. Angels got wings. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? We're going to be like Jesus. Jesus wasn't flopping around when he came back. Anybody here know what that is? You got to understand, you can't copy stuff. At the end of the day, if you country, God wants you to talk country. Don't try to get all eloquent, but copy somebody who's more educated than you are. God said, you didn't never finish high school. Why are you using them kind of words? God is not concerned about how fancy you are. He's concerned about your heart. If you don't have good English, God don't care nothing about that. He's still taking when you say, ah, he is good. Be who you are. Pray the way you pray. You just pray the way you pray. You ain't got to be you pray the way you pray. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You preach the way you preach. Man, I'm not in no contest. I'm not trying to impress nobody. If you don't like the way I preach, walk out. If you don't like the way I preach, don't come. But in the middle of the day, I'm going to preach the way I preach. I'm going to hurt the world trying to be somebody else because you're going to rob the world of you. Nobody can beat you being you. Nobody can praise God like you can. Don't be looking all around. Don't be trying to get nobody else's approval. Do you? Oh my God. You ain't got to be walking all around the church. You shut up, I'm just doing me. I'm just doing me. Is there anybody here ain't ashamed this morning that God been that good to you? That you ain't ashamed to be you. You ain't ashamed to get up by yourself. You ain't ashamed to praise him by yourself. You ain't ashamed to stop by yourself. You ain't ashamed to give him glory by yourself. At the end of the day, it's just me. Don't talk to me. You gotta be committed. You gotta be committed. Let me tell you something. There are two things. There are two A's about yourself that I've learned in 36 years here. And you know what the two A's I've learned that helps me to be myself is to accept my strengths and admit my weaknesses. You can be yourself. You ain't got to apologize to nobody. You say, I accept the fact that I'm not going to put myself down when an area I know I'm strong. Yeah, you know you can make that lemonade. You said about I make good lemonade. You know you can make that lemonade. And instead of saying, I just couldn't get this lemonade together, couldn't mess it up. And then just get somebody to say, the gun, you know you put your foot in that lemonade. If you know you're strong in this area, praise God for it. Don't be holding your head down. Don't be apologizing for it. Don't be apologizing for what God gave you. Don't be apologizing for what God has put bless your life. Don't be apologizing for doors God opened for you. Don't be apologizing for opportunities that God gave you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? If God bless you to drive a BMW, get in it and drive it and give the glory and the praise to God. Whatever strength that you have, you accept that. Yes. You accept that strength. Yes. But at the flip side of that, you admit your weaknesses. Yes. When you can admit your weaknesses, that's the key of being you. It takes a lot of strength to try to hide what's wrong with you. But when you can admit that I ain't all together, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, I ain't well, I'm right now. You know what? Don't put your hand in my face, man. I know I praise God. I know I love the Lord. Yeah, but I ain't quite got that spiritual for you to put your. I know I love the Lord. I know I love Jesus. I love him with all of my heart. I love my all of my heart. But I ain't him. I ain't him. You gonna spit in my face. Somebody's gonna be fighting. Can anybody in here can admit some areas you ain't quite right? Some areas you ain't well? Some areas can bring out the worst in you. Admit the fact that you are weak. Amen. Amen. I don't have another cheap ministry. You slap me and you go and slap back. I'm not that guy to be in the corner talking about it. I'm gonna pray for you too. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray over you. You gotta admit your weaknesses. You gotta admit your weaknesses. You gotta admit your weaknesses. Amen. First thing Jesus was committed. He said, I know who I am. And I don't need you to tell me who I am. I know who I am. I don't need you to define me. I can define myself. Amen. Because I am not trying to compare myself to nobody. And I'm not trying to copy nobody. Amen. I'm just me. In the middle of the day, I'm just me. Sometimes you mean, but you just you. Amen. Amen. Sometimes you got a little attitude. Amen. But you just you. Amen. In other words, you can say God ain't through with me. Is anybody other than me is still under construction? You're still under construction. You're still under construction. Amen. You better do that. Amen. Number one is commitment. Number two is clarification. See, not only you got to know who you are, you got to know what you're trying to accomplish. And Jesus took time to clarify to them. Let's go back to John 8:14. Amen. I like this one. He said, not only I know who I am, but I also know where I'm going. All right. You got to clarify, what are you trying to accomplish? If you're a deacon in the church, what are you trying to accomplish as a deacon? If you joined Brady in Zion, what were you trying to accomplish as a member? See, you got to set some clarification. Because here's a lot of times, you can have activity but no productivity. All right. You can be busy but not productive. I see, people can't understand, folks, the way that you can be productive in your activity is that you got to be driven by purpose. So you got to have a purpose for what you're doing, because the purpose is what's going to drive you. People are driven when they've established a purpose behind what they're doing, and they are driven by their purpose. Jesus says, I understand where I'm going because I understand my purpose. Do y'all understand that? Amen. And listen. Matthew 10:16. Jesus said, he said, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. All right. But be ye therefore wise as serpents, but be harmless as doves. Now, what does that phrase mean? That kind of threw me off when I read that. I had to research it to understand what in the world Jesus is talking about. So what do you mean by wise? The word wise in the Bible actually means strategic. In other words, you need to have a strategy behind what you're doing. You see, when you got purpose, you can develop strategy. People have no strategy, Tim, because they haven't defined a purpose for what they do. So the thing is, folk don't know why you do what you do because they don't understand the strategy behind what you're doing. So you ought to look at your time should be a part of your strategy of achieving your purpose that's in your heart. I don't understand why you're not here at 10 o'clock at night. Why you not here working the way you're working? Because I have a purpose for what I'm doing. And I'm driven by the purpose, and the purpose demands a strategy that I'm working on. And so here's the thing that you gotta have. When you got purpose, you can develop strategy. People don't know what to do with themselves because they don't see the purpose of why they do it. It really bothers me when folks say, I don't really know what to do. Then maybe you don't need to be doing it. Because what you're doing has no purpose. And when there is no purpose, there is no plan. Because you have the purpose, God will give you the plan. I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you. My purpose was, Lord, I want to do the best of what I do. I want to do the best of what I do for you. Then God said, this is the strategy. If you're going to do it this way, this is the strategy. Nobody else understands that. Because you don't understand what drives me. And I'm driven by a purpose that God has put in my heart. And he said, it ain't going to happen unless you do it this way. When you, let me say something. There's always peace and purpose. You know why there's always peace and purpose? Because with peace and purpose, even bad things work toward purpose. That's what he said. Hey, in Romans 8:28, he said, listen, do you know this? All things are going to work together for good to those that love God. And those who are called what? According to his word. When there's a purpose in your life, God will show you how even a bad thing is working to carry out purpose. Amen. Amen. God said, I know you want to do this. I put this purpose in your heart. There's some people gonna leave your life, but the way they left your life, you ain't gonna grieve them. Why? Because you saw it as part of the purpose that God was bringing to you in your life. There's some people who are going to disappoint you, but you're not going to be discouraged, because in the midst of all of that, you saw that within the purpose that God was bringing into your life. Jesus said, listen, they were a little further with you. Jesus understood he didn't let anybody deviate him from his purpose. Go to Luke 4. Go to Luke 4. He arose out of the synagogue and entered Simon's house, and Simon's wife mother was taken with a great fever. And they besought him for her. They begged him to come to her. Verse 39, he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and they left her. And immediately she arose and ministered unto them. Verse 40, and when the sun was setting, all they that had any sick with different diseases, they brought them unto him. He laid his hands on every one of them, and he healed them. Go to 41. Come on, Jesus. And devils also came out, crying out, saying, Thou art the Christ, the Son of God. And he rebuked them, suffered them not to speak, for they knew that he was the Christ. Verse 42. And when it was day, he left them and went into a desert place. And the people kept looking for him. And they came unto him. And they stayed him that he would not depart. The Lord Jesus, you need to stay right here. Stay right here. And this is what he said to him. I'm not going to let you deviate from the purpose. I must preach the kingdom of God in other cities also. Because that's where I have been sent. But Jesus, man, these people love you. You're popular. Man, you the man here. Stay right here. He said, that's not what's driving me. Purpose. Even as a boy, one of the first words of Jesus, he understood purpose. Luke 2:49. He understood purpose. And man, I'm going to be done in a minute. And he said unto him, he said, how is it that you're looking for me? He told the Spirit, why y'all looking for me? I know my purpose. I must be about my Father's business. And the purpose is driven by purpose. Don't expect anybody to understand it but you. People who have no purpose are quick to say, I don't see it. I just don't see that. I don't see that happening in your life. But when you're driven by purpose, you don't always like what he does, but you see what he's doing. Because it's many and working together to bring out purpose. Number two, you're going to lead like Jesus do. There has to be clarification. It's got to be clarification. Here's number three. You got to understand the cause of why you're doing it. So it's not important that you know what you're doing. It's not important that you know why you're doing it. It's important that you understand who you're trying to please. What's your motivation? Who are you trying to please? What's the motivation behind you serving? Who are you really trying to please? Now, one thing I found out a long time ago, that you can't please everybody. Or even God can't please everybody. And you sure can't do what he can't do. You know what leadership is? Leadership Leadership is the ability to manage disappointments. Because I don't care what kind of leader you are, somebody is going to be disappointed. No matter how hard you work, somebody is going to be disappointed. And if you're going to be a leader, you got to know how to manage that. You have to learn how to handle that. Amen? And you know what? There are two T's in handling disappointments. Amen? As a leader, you got to know how to have a tough skin and still keep a tender heart. You got to have a tough skin, but still keep a tender heart. Folk will wear you out. They will wear you out. They'll have you upset all the time. You'll be mad all the time. You got to learn how to take disappointments, stay tough. Some things I hear, I just ignore. I hear what you're saying, but if it's not within purpose, I just ignore it. Some things ain't even worth your attention. Some things ain't even worth your time. Anybody know what I'm talking about? When you're secure about yourself, stay tough, but stay tender. Gotta have a tough skin, but you have to have a tender heart. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I hear you, but I still love you. I ain't gonna stop speaking to you. I ain't gonna change views. Anybody know what I'm talking about? There's a message that you gotta be able to do that. Let me tell you something. Two things you gotta know how to handle. You gotta handle your critics and your compliments. You got to be able to handle your critics and handle your compliments. And how do you handle your compliments? You can handle your compliments like chewing gum. You handle your critics and your compliments like chewing gum. And you know what you do when you chew gum? You chew it and get all the good out and spit it out. You don't swallow it. You hear it? And then you chew on it. And when you got all the good out of it, you hear the nice things people say, you chew on it. And when you got all the good out of that, spit it off. I like what Billy Graham said. I ain't talking, I'm talking to me. Billy Graham said this. When people give you destructive criticism, it's like wrestling in the mud with a pig. If you wrestle in the mud with a pig, both of y'all gonna get muddy, but only the pig gonna like it. Right there. Then why are you getting in that mud with that pig? It's amazing, man. It's amazing. You got to understand. You got to understand why you know it. Why you really know this. Why? Who are you really trying to please? At the end of the day, you need to have an audience of one. I preach the way I preach because I'm preaching to an audience of one. I do the things I do because I'm doing it before an audience of one. Amen? I'm only trying to please one. That's all. I'm just only trying to please one. Just only trying to please one. Amen? I don't worry about who's sincere, who's not sincere, who's real, who ain't real. That ain't none of my business. Because at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for you. I'm trying to please one. At the end of the day, I want to hear the Lord say, servant of God, well done. When I get through preaching on Sunday morning, I want to hear the Lord say, you did a good job. At the end of the day, your audience ought to be one. John 5:30. John 5 and verse number 30. Amen. John 5. And Jesus said, I can of my own self do nothing as I hear. I judge and my judgments are just. And you know why they right? Because I don't seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which has sent me. He says, that's who I'm trying to please. At the end of the day, that's who I'm trying to please. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It's what you're trying to please. I hope I'm helping you today. You're going to be the kind of leader. Amen. Here's the ultimate will of everyone in this building that is a leader. It's in John 17 and 4. Jesus said, I have glorified you on the earth. I did it the way you told me. I stayed within the purpose you gave me. And because of that, I have finished the work which you gave me to do. Some people liked it, and some people didn't. Some people approved, and some people didn't approve. But at the end of the day, that's my ultimate will. And that's what you call leading like Jesus. When you are committed and know who you are. When there's some clarification on what you're trying to accomplish. When you understand the cause, who you're trying to please, then you're leading like Christ. I got one more bonus I want to give you today. That's a leader. You've got to maintain your concentration. As a leader, what should be my concentration that I learned from Jesus? This first thing. The concentration of all of you as a leader, the number one concentration is to build a team. All right. Don't do everything yourself. Amen. Say that now. One of the things that's crippled the church over the years is that y'all expected the pastor to do everything. And even Jesus knew better. So what he did, he put together a team. Amen. Because if you don't put together the team, then it don't become no more than what you are. So he got himself 12 team members and put together a team. And this is why, and Dr. Caesar Clark, man, he pastored Good Street Baptist Church for 44 years plus, over 50, because of the time he got sick. And I asked him one day, what was the secret of his longevity as pastor? And Dr. Clark always talked real slow. He said, Brother Blount, I don't do what somebody else can do. I was waiting on some more. He said, that's it. Build a team. Build a team. I don't mess with the choir. I'm not all in the music. I don't bother the choir. Amen. You should be part of the team. I don't want to do what the deacons do. That's what you do. Y'all part of the team. I don't want to be doing what trustees ought to be doing. That's part of the team. My job is to do what y'all can't do. So stop expecting me to do what y'all do. We spend time here developing a team. I don't interfere with the brotherhood. I only come when y'all invite me. And I do what the brotherhood minister asks me to do. And I do it when he put me up. I don't come in there taking over the meeting. All right, I'm here now. Sit down, I'm here now. I come in and I sit down with the other brothers. And then the brotherhood minister said, we're ready for the pastor now. He said, when to be here. Ability. You have made family so strong because they believe in the team concept of family. And what I mean by that, everybody had something they had to do if you're going to be a member of this family. We call it chores. Dad called it teamwork. Mama had something to do. Children had something to do. Amen? But now, children don't want to do nothing. They want mama to be their maid and pick up behind them and wash all their clothes and iron all their stuff. Oh no, they didn't do that back then. They taught you how to iron. They taught you how to wash clothes. They taught you how to separate the whites from the color. They taught you how to cook. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's called teamwork. And if you're going to be a good leader, you better build a team. Because when folk are not doing things with you, they'll start doing things to you. You got to build a team. That's what Jesus did. That's what Jesus said. Here's the second thing you got to have. You got to have a battle buddy. Everybody got to have a battle buddy. You know what a battle buddy is, Miss Wet? You know what a battle buddy is? It ought to be somebody that ministered to you when you hurt. Somebody you can turn to when everybody else been turning to you. Where do you go when you're hurting? Who ministers to you? Who's your battle buddy? Who's that person you can cry to? Who's that shoulder you can lean on? You gotta have a battle buddy. Even Jesus had some battle buddies. When he was going through the worst thing he was going through in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was going through the worst. He was going through, sweat was pouring off him like drops of blood. Amen. He called 3 of his battle buddies and said, can y'all just go with me? I need y'all to watch and need y'all to pray with me. I need some battle buddies right now. I need somebody that you know what? And a battle buddy don't mean that you always got to have a solution. Battle buddies are people who just be there. You ain't got to always try to tell me how to fix stuff. You got to come up with solutions for me. But the fact I know you just gonna be there. It's no more than just put your arms around me. No more than say, man, it's gonna be all right. No more than say, man, I'm praying for you. Sometimes it's sit down, shut your mouth, and be quiet. You need a battle buddy. When you're grieving, yes, sir. And when you're hurting, I'm not looking for an answer. When people are sick on their sick bed, they're not looking for you to heal them. They just love the fact that you were there. You never forget your battle buddies. You never forget when you were at your lowest, that you had someone cared enough to say, let me just come by and bring you something to eat. I can't fix your problem, but I can make sure you eat. Need some battle buddies that'll look at you and say, something ain't right with you today. You come over here, let me put your arms over. It's the third thing, and I'm going to leave you alone. Amen. You got to be diligent in your prayer life. Got prayer life. And you know what prayer is? Let me tell you something. Here's the thing that we miss about prayer. Prayer is nothing but a conversation with God. Okay, this is what I'm saying again. Prayer is a conversation that you're having with God. There are 2 dimensions of a conversation. is talking and listening. And often we miss some things with God because all we're doing is doing all the talking. But we never just shut up and listen. Have you ever thought about it beginning of your prayer life and you say this, God, speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. And I prayed about some things in the church and prayed about some things in my life and prayed about my situation. And I said, God, you know what? I need you to speak. Because I'm ready to listen. I need you to tell me. I'm ready to follow you. And so I challenge you today that this is the message I would love to have a preacher to preach to me, to encourage me after 36 years on this journey. Stay committed. Be clear about what you're trying to accomplish. Know when to quit, when it's time to quit. Know when it's finished. And always know the cause, who you really trying to please. And maintain your concentration. Build a team. And at the end of the day, keep your conversation going with God. Give God praise and glory.